It is my pleasure to introduce our next speaker, a gentleman who has immense amount of expertise and knowledge when it comes to loyalty platforms. And not just loyalty, but true omnichannel loyalty, and has the vision that he wants to share with you today on where the industry is heading, how you can leverage that, and how can you move your business forward. So let me introduce Yair Goldfinger.
Let's see if it goes. Hey, everyone. I'm going to first introduce myself, and I'm going to speak slowly. You're going to get used to my accent in like a few minutes. So I'm a serial entrepreneur. My first company was a company called ICQ. I don't know if you're familiar to it, but anyone of you is using instant messaging? That's actually me and my co-founders to blame. So we invented, back in '96, instant messaging, chat. The company was sold to America Online. Then I went to start another company called Datomi, which is, we're going to speak at each one of these companies later on, which doing, what we call retargeting, remarketing online. And now my third company is a company called Upcard. You can step out later on and see us in the booth. Everything that I'm going to share over here is basically based on real data, real case studies, based on my last two companies. So we look on retention and personalized retention. And basically, it's a term that we mean use data and act on it in a really personalized way and target your consumers, whether it's online, offline, email, chat, phone, basically on any channel. We all know that retention is actually more profitable than acquisition. It's more cost-effective, and then I'm not going to read over all the numbers. There are many numbers that actually show that retention actually works better, more cost-efficient than acquisition. Now go back to the online world, and that's what I did in my previous company. Let's say you have a website. We spend a lot of money on Google, maybe on some other, on Yahoo, and so on, to get people to our website. They click on the banner end, they come to the website. What do we do then? Majority of them don't really end up buying anything to our website. So we look at an example. Someone comes to, Google, search on Google, clicks on an ad, comes to a website. Then what? What do we do? So currently we have several solutions out there. One is what Amazon is doing, which is basically trying to personalize what you are doing on the website. So my Amazon and your Amazon is not the same. Each one of us actually gets a personalized Amazon. The other ones, they start emailing us. Send us personalized offers, coupons, people that like you also like, that behave like you also like that, and so on and so on. We can do email, and we can do what I did in my previous company called Datomi. Anyone familiar with retargeting, remarketing? I'm sure you are, by the way. All of you are. You just don't know that's the way. That's the term. So it is basically you go to a website, and you do it today. You go to, Target. You don't buy. Later on, you see all the banners trying to get you back to Target. All these, banners basically becoming like spam, trying to get you back to Target to finish the transaction. That's what we invented in my previous company. It's now becoming spam, but back then it wasn't so spammy. So basically, the idea, you come to one website, you search for a product or something you don't buy. Later on, when you go to other website, the banner ad is going to try and get you back to the website to finish the transaction. It looks very simple, but let's look, some samples. So in this case, we have Jessica. She went to a website, and she spent 20 minutes looking on shirts. Then she spent 3 minutes looking on shoes. What should we show her in the banner? Any ideas? What will drive the best or the effect, getting her back to the website to buy? Should we show her shirts or shoes? So that's interesting. So who is in favor of shirts? Just raise your hand, so we'll see. Wow, it's actually hard to see. And who is in favor of shoes? So actually, I was wrong. This was the first bet we did in my company, and I lost dinner to all the employees because I was sure it was shoes, it's actually shirts. So statistically, if you spend more time on a product, even if it's not the last product you viewed on a website, you are more likely to buy it. Now let's go again. This Jessica comes again. She now looks on 20 minutes on kids' furniture and 3 minutes on shoes. What should we show now? Who is for the kids' furniture? Why? No one buys kids' furniture online. That's what we should show, shoes. Now, again, it's all about data, and this is a real numbers. In this case, it's Target, by the way, which was the biggest clients of my previous company. So, keep in mind, we need to do really, decisions that are driven on data. We need to see, what to show in the banner, who to show it, when to show it, how many times, on which websites, whether we should show it. There are people that are more, reacting to animations. People are reacting to flat, text. For example, that's a clear, rule. If you are a male, what color will work the best? Blue. It works by far. If you are female, pink. And we're talking about millions and millions of, back then my company is now, we sold it, but now they're doing like 25 billion impressions. It's a big company. It's, talking about, sample of hundreds of millions of users. Works again, doesn't work 100% of the times, but works way better. Blue gonna influence more. By the way, animation or statics? If you are a female, what's better, animation or static? Static image. Static images works better on female, animation works better on male. God knows why, but that's the case. Now let's go to the offline world, to the retail store. You spend a lot of money to get people to your to your store, the same like on your website. But what do you do then? Do you spend money, again, advertising and TV maybe, and social and whatever? People come to the web store, what then? Now let's look on it. What do you know about your customers? You know everything about them, or you can know everything about them. You collect the data. And what do we do with it? Sadly, not enough. And actually, most of us not doing anything with it. So, keep this one. We really know that our customers, wants to be contacted anywhere, anytime, whether it's on the mobile, if it's a young guy, whether it's, usually older guys don't really like the mobile. They actually really like the plastic card, that comes with loyalty and so on. So, it's about time that's all of you, and you can do it. You have the data. Move from, gut feeling to, data-driven. And that's actually a story that, my brother used to own. He sold it. He had like 120 retail, like fashion apparel stores. Back in Israel, that's where my accent is from. And, I came in. I was, the whiskey, then I like computers and numbers and so on. I came to him, I told him, hey, I'm going to optimize your business. He's like older than me, running it for many years and so on. He said, no way. And then I said, let's do a bet. I'm going to look on the data and tell you which color of shirts sell the most or the best. And he said, you don't need to look on the beta. I know, it's the green one. They sell the most. And guess what? The green ones weren't selling at all. But my brother's favorite color is green. And that's what influenced his mind for years. And we're talking about years of, and that's, most people are working like that. More people are getting attached to the product. More people get their own view, influence their decisions, and so on. But you have all data. You have all numbers. And like Dan said before of me, you have everything. Just go and look on it. So going back to, some definitions about, what we call personalization. And I think that all of you is basically aware of it or, familiar with it. Is basically using technology and do a different, between different people. Shows them different, whether it's a banner or a message or a text. For example, there's a big difference in, again, going back to online. There's a big difference between the text, the lingo, between, people from Texas, people from New York. For example, there's a huge difference in the, the text. How do you talk with them? Like the lingo and how do you choose the, the word? Or for example, if we did an experiment, again, going back to banners, we went up and targeted people with banners in Yiddish. Yiddish. No one is like speaking it. You know what? When we targeted the right people, it worked very well. We did banners in Spanish. So we go to Yahoo in English and suddenly see a banner in Spanish because we knew you are speaking Spanish. Worked way better. Hey, some people got scared of it. People get scared that we know too much of them, and that's another story. So when we started the company, like not to go too much, extreme. When we started the company, my previous company, the main idea behind it was to be really, really personalized. So the banner ad actually looked like an envelope. So basically it said, a small envelope, said like, hey, John, flipped and showed the banner. By the way, it worked amazingly well in Israel when we did the pilot. We came over here, we did it, the results were amazing, but then the New York Times got sued because of us. And then we realized that over in the USA, we went, we passed, the line. So maybe in Israel, the culture is that you can, the gray line, how personalized you can be slightly, farther away. Over here, the moment we started using personal, first name inside the banner, people got scared. The big brother and so on. And we stopped doing it. Although we knew your first name, we were not showing it. And again, the New York Times sued us. It was a long, ended up, with paying a lot of money to some guy who sued them. We paid it, at the end of the day, to them. So how do we achieve this, personalization? We collect the data, and we act on it. We use, and there are tools out there. We have a tool we show you later on, again, if you go to the, to our booth, but there are many tools out there. So the way we look on data, in our case, we look on, we call it the cone of data. So we look on it, the first one, we look on, aggregations, basic aggregations. You have the data, just aggregate it on different ways, how many discounts were given, how many returns, how many rewards, how many transactions per store, per hour, whatever. No insight, just look at the data and aggregate it in different ways. On top of it, we look on, something which is slightly more calculated, which, people that bought A also bought B, for example. Slightly more insights. We look on cashier ranking. Who is the most or the best performing cashier you have? Why? Can we see why from the data? Can we look, what we call traffic versus labor, which is basically, do you really need 2 point of sales active at morning? Maybe you only need, to start at, noon and get the second cashier come in. So on. And you have it's all in the data. You have all of that. On top of it is some insights about promotions, and can we predict returns? Can we predict churn? I don't know if you ever got a call from, Verizon or each one of them offering you something. This guy is basically running very sophisticated churn models. They're actually able to predict whether you're going to stop using Verizon or not. And they actually call you ahead of time, give you some offer or promotion or something to, get you stick for slightly longer. And on top of it, we have all kinds of alerts. Basically fraud, for example, which we call, or change in trends and so on. But all of that, you have all the data already. And all of it is inside your point of sales, inside Retail Pro. Everything is collected. And the end of the goal, everyone is familiar with RFM. So RFM it's recency, frequency, monetary. And and you can Google it. That's the basic term of what you want to achieve. You want to increase recency, frequency, monetary. The basic model basically lets you, and again, you can Google it, but basically you can actually take all your customers, segment them to different, segments based on recency, frequency, monetary, and all your goal in life is to get more and more customers up the rank. Now, how do you do it? It's very simple at the end of the day. You get people, identify themselves at the store, whether they swipe a card or key in a phone number or whatever. You collect data about them. They buy. You collect data. You can send them a digital receipt or, just a receipt and so on. You give them offers which are personalized. They come back to the stores. That's the basic scheme. Looks very easy, not so easy, but that's how we want it to do. And then you can actually go and do, offers based on loyalty. So whoever is, spending more money and coming more frequently, you're going to give him something, whoever is not coming as frequent, the offer is going to look completely different. You're going to look on what I said, recency, frequency, monetary. You're going to look on my purchase history. You have the data. It's all there. Location, for example, whether your store is located in a business area or tourist area, it's very different what you're going to offer over there, and so on. And that's really hard to see in terms of, but that's what I'm currently doing. and you can, again, later on go and see it. But basically, we are offering the complete solution around it, around retention, and how to do personalization around it. And whether you want to talk over the phone, text, application, email, and so on. Now I'm going to go, and again, stop me if you don't get it. I'm going to go over many case studies over here, just as you see. And all of them are real-life case studies from close to 1 million users, thousands of stores. I mean, it's working. So we have this guy, Steve, came to a retail store, apparel one, and he bought a pair of shoes and a pair of socks. Later on, we sent him, it's hard to see, a digital receipt to his mobile phone, basically telling him about, the receipt. What do you think will be a good offer for him to go and buy again? Any ideas? Okay. Many. Basically, everything can work. A lot of things can work. Basically, what we did a lot of experiments around it. In this case, basically, we came into the conclusion that people change socks more often than they change shoes, which makes sense, I guess. So if we give him a free pair of socks the next time, for the next month, he might actually come and get it, but we might be able to sell him something more when he gets to the store. Another subnote that's, what we have noticed with many of our customers is that they allow the customers to earn, whether it's points or gifts or whatever, online on their website. But they don't want them to redeem them on the website, unless it's, a customer which is out of town, which basically what they believe, which is right. If they get a customer back to the store, to the offline store, they'll be able to have, the sales representative or the cashier, whatever, upselling and offering more. Well, it's somehow more easier for them to do it than doing it using technology on the website. Not necessarily, actually, it's correct if you train your employees to do it and they know what to upsell, and it works much better. Again, we'll get another example. In this case, she goes, buy a pair of jeans and a T-shirt. We send her a receipt, so on, ideas of what we can offer her. Again, we'll go here. We'll offer her, that works very, very well. We're going to offer her a 15% off of an item that she didn't buy, if she buys it in the next 2 hours. 2 hours I did. This actually works very, very well in a shopping mall environment. Because people come to the store, they're going to spend some time at the shopping mall. If it's like, it's an area where there are other stores. Not like, people have to drive to your store and then they drive out. What we found out about that is actually very interesting. And we'll show it later on, but basically what we found out about that is that when you use timing, like a clock running, and by the way, the offer, when she got it to the mobile, was like a clock ticking on it. People hate to miss a discount. They feel that if they're not going to use it, for the next 2 hours, they're going to miss it, they're not going to get it. People want to use it. So some sense of urgency really helps with, everything. Some sense of, hey, you're going to lose it if you're not going to use it. Helps a lot. And the other thing that we found out over here is that a lot of the people that came back to the store to use the discount didn't buy the belt at the end of the day. They bought something else. Which actually also very interesting. But they got back to the store. They went over the aisles, they looked for the belt, they spent some time on the belt, but you know what? On the way in, they saw another item that they liked, ended up buying it. A case of coffee shop, this one all of you should know, because that's why more or less we copied from Starbucks. So he comes every day, he buys, but he buys in the morning. That's what you saw over here. He buys only morning coffee. But hey, my store is open, 12 hours a day, whatever, 10 hours a day. What should I do? So I'm going to offer him a discount if he comes in the afternoon. It works extremely well. We have another client, which is not shown over here, the same. What we did, it's a cafeteria. It's a working, it's a cafeteria near a big, business area. And basically, the guys come in the morning, eat breakfast. Really, really cheap. Eat breakfast. And what they did, they gave a discount of $1 if you come and eat lunch, only for the same day. So randomly, you get a discount to eat lunch the same day for $1. What we found out is, one, it's working extremely well. But the other thing that people, if you look on it, the average ticket price or transaction size didn't go down. So people used the $1 to get a, a bigger, Coke, or get some, dessert or whatever. The same with, we have a wine store, for example, which is also very interesting. This wine store, what they're doing, if you buy 10 bottles of wine, you get 15% discount, it's like a punch card. You buy 10 bottles of wines, you get 15% discount, for the next purchase. What we found out is the same. People basically have the mindset, they go to a wine shop, they spend whatever, $20, $30. When they go and, basically use the discount, they spend the same amount of money. Just buy a more expensive wine. Which also, again, I would never guess. I thought, like me, I'm cheap, I'm going to use the discount. No, they use the same. They end up spending the same amount of money. Another one, this case is actually really also interesting. So you're all used to, punch cards. You're all familiar with it. Look at it, this is really interesting. Almost all punch cards out there is buy whatever, 10 or 9, get 1 for free. But if I'm buying 9 coffees, what is the more, like let's say in a month, 2 months, whatever, what is the product that I'm most likely to buy? Coffee. I bought 9 already. Most chances I will come by and buy another coffee. I really like your coffees. So why do you offer me a free coffee? Just give me 10% discount or whatever. What we did over here, again, that's really hard because most customers are not willing to do this experiment. Most customers that we have doing buy 10, buy 9, get same one for free. This guy basically said, hey, buy 9 products, get a dessert for free, which is something that less people buy. You're going to experiment our desserts. You're going to see how good they are, and you're going to start buying our desserts. Some other case studies on, this one goes to analytics. So over here, what we see the ratio of returns to transactions. Everyone understand this one? What do you think we can learn from this graph? You basically see, for these guys, Michael, 2% of the transactions he did were returns. And whoever. Then on the other side, 8% of the transactions he did were the returns. And the average across all your employees was, whatever, 4%. Any ideas? That's fraud. Possible fraud. This guy basically doing way more returns than other guys are doing. And sadly, we found like 5 cases already of cashier fraud, all around returns. People who just, at night, before the shift ends, just do a return, never got the item back. And we're actually very interesting. There was a guy over here with a pest store. I don't know if he's here. That's really amazing. What we found out, people are returning fish. Really fish. And what happens is that it's really, why? And basically say he died. So when we went to the owner and told him, hey, something doesn't make sense over here. Too many people actually, with one of your cashiers, returns fish. They bought a fish, like a goldfish, and they returned it. How come? And he said, hey, they returned it, but it died, like afterwards. So ended up, it's not, we ended up, this, which is actually, this guy at the end of the day did not allow his employees, whenever a fish died, he was collecting the bodies. So he's not anywhere allows them to throw them, to trash, but in order to prove it. And this guy was basically doing nothing. He's doing every night, doing it. It's also the best. The other issue that you have to keep in mind when doing it and looking at it, it's also the best, method for store owners to basically take cash out. So some of the cases that work like that, we thought it's an employee fraud, but it wasn't employee fraud. It was basically the store owner taking some cash out and, saying it was a return. Yeah. Now, that's another one, which is the number of transactions per point of sale. So basically what you see over here, the blue and the red ones, are 2 points of sales. And you see how many transactions, based on the time of the day. Any ideas? What you can learn from it? Anyone? This one is simple. Basically, there is no use. Why should you have two, point of sales operating during these hours? That's actually a sample of a coffee shop that's basically, opened really early in the morning, finished at night, and basically there was no need for two cashiers over there during these hours. That's another case. What you see over here is basically a guy that was running, 3 stores, 3 locations, and we looked on overlap between stores. So basically what we did is started the loyalty program. So he signed up people to the loyalty program, which means he has a user ID, a number in this case. So he was able to track how many people, buy at store A and also buy at store B. And basically one of the stores was not doing so well and so on. And hey, we basically optimized the store. We told him, hey, there's a big overlap between, in this case, store A and store B. There's no need. It depends on your business and the goals. So basically, in this case, he shut down one of the stores. We helped him look on the stores, decide which one of them to shut down, and he shut down one of the stores. And mainly because of the overlap. Yes, if you look on, store B, in this case, whatever, I don't remember, let's say he shut down store A, what happened after that is that actually store B picked up a lot of it. So a lot of the traffic that, store A actually got from the same users, they just got back to store B. So he lost some of it, but he didn't lose all of it. Some other stuff. Coffee shop. If you remember, that's like real data. Remember the case before that we told people, come at, you get a discount if you come in the afternoon? This guy increases traffic in the afternoon 23%. Again, I'm not a big fan of it. I myself, I don't drink coffee. I'm not sure it's so healthy, and so on. But hey, this guy actually really increased his traffic. And that's why, by the way, Starbucks is doing. We copied it. We didn't invent it, and so on. We look for a hardware store. They implemented loyalty with points. So basically, you get points back. You get, 1 point for every whatever dollar. I don't remember, really the rules. Is set. And later on, when you get to enough points, you can use them back at the store. And this guy basically, again, when people came up the same to redeem the points, use it as money, actually the transaction side increased. Like I said, what we found out that most people, when they use these, discounts and points, they actually spend the same amount of money, if not even more. They allow themselves to do it because they feel they get, a really good price because they use the points. A wireless store is a guy that, prepaid, when you prepay your phone and you come every month and you don't necessarily have like a credit card or a bank account and you have to go and load money to your phone. This guy basically what he did a campaign. This is a sample campaign. He sent people, the wireless guys, so he sent them a text message basically telling him, if you come and prepay your phone, like load money to your phone for the next month, you are going to get some gift. The numbers are amazing, over here. And you can see, it's 50% came up, for the guys that came up to the store and redeemed this, coupon, which is like $10, value, some gift he gave. And 61% of them bought something else. We did some customer surveys about that, and what we found, not necessarily about this case, but what we found out that when a lot of people, when they get something for free, they don't feel comfortable getting it for free, and they buy something else. For example, what we do with many of coffee shops we work with, it's very automatic. We basically look on people that churn or used to come, don't come anymore, and we just send them a text message or an email or an offer saying, hey, we miss you. You have a free coffee on the house waiting for you. That's all. Which coffee is most, really high margins. A lot of these guys actually come to get the free coffee. A lot of them end up buying another product with it. And when we ask people why, because going back to me, I will just get the free coffee. I will buy nothing else. I'm right, it's free. And more chance I will come and my wife will ask me to buy her the free coffee. So when I think about it. But a lot of them end up buying something else with a coffee. They don't feel comfortable getting something for free. Another case, which is similar to what we did, it's a health and beauty store. Basically, a punch card, and the last one was 25% on the discount. 47 of the customers redeemed and bought. But again, it makes sense. You get 25, which is a decent discount. You come and buy it, you come and buy. But a third of the guys that came again to buy more. Again, or they didn't feel comfortable, or they saw it's a really good product, we really like the soaps over here, and we can buy more. Apparel Store, which a lot of you are more familiar with. The same, if you go back to this 2-hour example. You come, you buy, you don't buy another item, a supplement item, we give you a discount which is only valid for 2 hours. 17% of the customers came back to use the coupon, and 10% of them bought even more. I think that's the last example, beauty and soaps. So this guy wanted to identify tourists versus local. This case study is over 20,000 users and across 14 locations. It's a retailer in Manhattan. So results were basically really amazing. And what we see, and we see it across the board, I think we have statistics aside about it, we actually see that loyal customers or people you reward, if you do it right, the ticket size tend to be higher. They spend more. Now, talking about Omnichannel, and you can talk with people, what we did, and again, I think that's what I think that's all of that you are more or less makes sense and you are familiar with. And going back to what Dan said, I don't want to get any emails, but I'm getting enough. But if you look at each one of the channels, we basically, and we're talking about millions of emails or text messages or to the app, what we call push, and so on. What we see is one, text messaging, which I hate personally, is the response rate is the highest. And think about yourself. If I'm going to send each one of you now, and some of you are doing it now, a text message, you're going to look on your phone. Right away. In the middle of the meeting, you're going to open your phone and look on it. All of us. It's rude. It's not polite. We do it. All of us. So the response rate is really amazing over here. And the return of investment is high. There is some cost associated with sending text messages, but you can not send too many text messages. The frequency, if you are going to get too many text messages from again, very much depends on the retailer. We have guys that send a text message every week, and their customers love it. They send like the special, it's a restaurant. They send like the special of the week. They really love it. But there are guys that cannot send more than 1 or 2 text messages a month. If you look at email, basically the response rate is really, really low. Think about yourself. When was the last time you actually opened an email you got and clicked on it? Almost never. But the return of investment is really high because it's really cheap to send an email. Costs almost nothing. And the frequency is okay. I mean, you're not going to send too many emails, but you can send quite a bit and not be being opted out by your customers. The last one, third one is push notification to the mobile phone, iPhone or Android, this push notification. So the response rate is actually good. It's not as text messaging, but it's really, really good. Over here, the return on investment is high. Push costs less than text message. Depends on the provider. Can be more or less not for free, but more or less for free. Again, frequency is really low. If you look at the last one is what we call banner advertising, which I said about retargeting, remarketing, which I talked about before. The response rate is not great. It's actually better than email, but it's not great. Return on investment is okay, but the frequency is high. People don't look at it as spam. People look at it, they're going to get anyhow advertising. They're going to be exposed to banner ads anyhow. Why not, get something that might be more relevant? So at the end of the day, you look at my presentation, and hopefully you're able to understand me with my accent and everything. That's the main key. That's my, if I'm going to go home and say, hey, I achieved what I wanted to do, is if you get this key. Each one of your customers is unique. You have all the data. You can use the data to basically get more sales, make your customers, happier, and do it with personalization and what we call real time. Questions? Anyone?
Excuse me?
Yeah.
How many people are using AppCard? Are very many people using it at this point?
So I said it at the beginning. So we have, it's getting close to, we're moving really fast to 1 million users in terms of customers. Getting very close to that. We'll cross it in the next, I guess, few weeks or really few months. And thousands of locations. And we have big guys and small guys, and it's all over the US.
Thank you.
Other questions? Yeah.
Is this separate from Retail Pro, or how is they integrated with our current program?
It's integrated with Retail
So,
Pro.
and what does it pull out of Retail Pro? Is that where all the analytics come from?
Yeah. It
Okay.
pulled up. You can actually see it in the booth over here. It pulled up all the sales data in real time. So you get real-time cloud-based reporting for everything.
So is the cost of it based on the number of locations you have, or just...
Yeah, but you have to basically speak with your reseller or your partner, Retail Pro partner, but yeah, it tied up to the locations.
Okay.
Yeah. I have to step it to see you. Yeah.
So you mentioned that email is probably one of the highest ROI for
But it's
marketers. Right. But so what do you use as unique identifier for the customers? The email address for the loyalty?
No, the phone number. So what we do in terms of our case, again, our implementation, what we do is two things. One, plastic card. For some reason, plastic cards. Everyone wants plastic card with a branded plastic card. That's fine. And then we attach to it a phone number. So basically, the process works that you're going to give a plastic card, if you want, to the customer, enroll him to the loyalty program, and then ask for the phone number. Phone number basically saying, hey, if you lose the card, we can use a phone number. 97% of the people give the phone number, which is high. Everyone gives the phone number. The moment we get a phone number, we send them a text message. Welcome to AAA rewards program. If you download the app, you can enjoy blah, blah, blah. Depends on, we do A/B testing to see what works better for each location. People click on it. In order to download the app or log into the app, they need to provide the email address. But our main key ID is the phone number. What we found out over here, which is different, and by the way, it's very different per country. In Israel, everyone I used to give your ID number. I will never give my phone number, never, or my email. I will give my ID number. Over here, you will never give your social number. But in Europe, you'll give your email address, you will not give your phone number. So I guess it's tied up to culture, or what people are used to. And again, the rules you have over here, do not call and whatever, that somehow protects you. Other questions? Thank you.